Welcome, bodybuilding fans around the world, to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by the one and only Super Judge, Tarek El-Guindy.
Thank you, Tim. Great to be here. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Spencer. Spencer is our switcher. Can we get a new name for that position? It's just so unfair.
Switcher.
Switcher.
Well, and as always, Tarek, you and I are joined by the one and only, the real deal, Hall of Fame bodybuilder, Chris Cormier.
In the house.
All right.
And he brought something else new.
Come on.
We got something new. Hey, you look pretty good today, Tarek. I like the outfit, man.
Thank you,
too,
Chris.
brother.
Check it out. Whoop. We got some yoga going on.
I don't know the name of them, but
It's Nike. It's called Nike.
Yeah, but they have names. These young people put names on them. So if someone knows the name of these shoes,
I think those are
please
called
put
the
them in
Dunks.
Put them in
Dunks.
put them in the comments, please.
Dunks.
These
Put them in the
are
comments.
Nike delinquencies. This is for people who are 60 days past due on stuff right here.
Okay.
So let me ask you something. What was harder, Chris? Finding those shoes in your size or getting the leg up that high?
Both.
Because, man, he was practicing that. He was down for like half an hour.
I got a cramp in my quad.
And for Halloween, if you need to get ideas about dressing up like a pimp, I want you to go to www.chriscormier.com. You get the best ideas of how to dress like a pimp this Halloween, which is October 31st.
And I gave you a compliment.
You know what? I think Party Central should just come out with a sack that just has some Louis overlays for your shoes and a belt.
Compliment in that. This is what I get, guys. There we go.
Well, guys, we hope you're ready for a great show. We got some interesting stuff to cover, as always, and we thank you. We were talking about this, guys, as soon as we meet up every time we come into town. It's really great to catch up on where we've been, what we've done, but so many of you are so awesome watching the show, coming up, you like and comment and share online, but you come up to us live at a show and say, you guys, I watch you during cardio,
Yes.
getting ready for a show, and we appreciate you so much. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's been great. I really like you, Tim. You're one of my favorite people in the industry, and I'm really happy to be here with you.
Hey,
That was-
and also Stephen McCrae, U.S. Navy, says he loves the show. I told you I was going to shout you out on the show. Primetime also loves you
All right.
as much as you love us.
That said, guys, there are some changes. Tyler Mannion has been very active making pronouncements about various divisions. We've got one that I'm looking forward to a lot coming up for men's physique. But one
Tyler is going to have gray hair in the next couple of years. I'll tell you this right now. I called him on Sunday, and he was dealing with 17 issues. And I said, Tyler, man, you need to relax. He's getting phone calls from all over the world, solving all kinds of issues. My man, I hope football season starts so he can start watching football on Sundays. He's been dealing with a lot of stuff. I give him a lot of credit. He's making great modifications. He's modernizing the NPC. But man, he's going to age with all the stuff he's got to deal with.
He's going to age like a president, isn't he?
I can imagine.
They come in 45 and leave 60. And not that he came in 45, he came in about 28. I'm sure it's just catching up. Well, Tyler, you made an announcement recently about the change to the weight limits in Classic Physique. Tarek, walk us through how and where they added the pounds to guys.
So it's quite simple, but it's a great modification. And again, some people, I mentioned that in baseball has not changed the rules, and the sport became stagnant. The NFL, every year, they change their rules because they want to make the game better. Right? Now you have the video to watch if a play was in or out. And I give a lot of credit to the executive team of the NPC and the IFBB Pro League. And a lot of times they call me and they say, what do you think? We're constantly thinking about how to make the sport better. And when you look at the Classic Physique, if you divide the height with the weight, some categories, the ratio was a little bit higher than others. And what we decided to do is to make that consistent across the board. Now, in bodybuilding is different, right? You have the heavyweight, you have the super heavyweight, you have the light heavy, and you can divide that. In Classic Physique, you're dealing with weight and height. And we just made sure that now it's consistent across the board, regardless of how many athletes we have on top. 7 feet tall, or how many athletes we have on the bottom, 4 feet 9. Everybody's consistent. The key question that everybody wants to talk about is, does that benefit some competitors? Absolutely. Ramon Dino can now have some more weight.
The 8 pounds, 10 pounds?
Correct. Yeah. Terrence Ruffin can have some more weight. Urs Kalaczynski can have some more weight. The guy that cannot add more weight, actually just 0.9, we don't know how much he weighed exactly, is Chris Bumstead. So a lot of people are saying, Tarek, does that make it close? Well, we don't know how they're going to look. That's pure speculation. But Chris knows this full well. 7, 8, 9 pounds that you can add on a physique that was squeezing, because Breon could have benefited from that tremendously, right? He would have looked different in some years.
I've been harping on this issue since day one, especially for the Classic division, because you know how close I was to that division from the start. And I feel like, I was always wondering, like, why is it the way it is? You know, why is he have to come down so far for his 5'6" frame to he only had 4 pounds to play with since he turned pro. Was it 6, 7 years ago?
And he starts his cut at what, 210, 220?
No, yeah, 220 something.
Yeah.
And so he was having to go all the way down to 180. And that was, I'm telling you, had to cut off something at the point of being in shape at 190, 192, and you like 188 today. And then so he was going like no carbs for like 6 weeks straight.
I saw him guest pose at the Daytona Pro in 2018, I want to say. He was like 190, 195 and almost stage ready. And I thought, man, how are you going to drop that other 10 without donating a kidney or donating blood before you walk on stage? It was not much room to play.
Yeah.
And my question to you guys is this. We all know that if you're smaller, it's easier to acquire muscle. We were talking about this today. If this change could very well just benefit a lot of the shorter guys and compromise some of the taller guys, which takes, and that was the initial thought. It takes a longer time for somebody that's taller to fill up. So I understand the beginning. I'm in line with the beginning, because if you're 7 feet tall and you have the same ratio, you're not going to look the same as Terrence Ruffin. He's going to look more dense. He's going to look like three-dimensional. So this Mr. Olympia, we're about to see something different. What everybody's been asking me is, oh, Tarek, is Ramon going to beat C-Bum now that he can put 7 or 8 pounds?
We're going to cover all that in a minute, specifically person to person. We'll go through the entire division, or at least the top 4 or 5. Where we run into a little trouble is, and it's not going to be this year. Is that correct? I mean, these will be 2024 rules.
No, this is implemented immediately.
Oh, wow.
Immediately. This is implemented immediately. So Ramon Dino, Urs Kalaczynski, and Terrence Ruffin will have the addition, and obviously I'm not their coach, I have nothing to do with them, but I hope that they're putting muscle on that frame, right? They're not coming 9 pounds with water, 9 pounds with a little bit of fat. But this changes immediately, which that makes the Mr. Olympia extremely exciting. And I want to ask Chris, because Chris understands this better than anybody. Chris, if Ramon, and I believe he can put 7 more pounds, if he puts 7 more pounds, is this going to be enough? If you could visualize 2022 Ramon with 7 more pounds, would he be able to beat Chris Bumstead, come closer to Chris Bumstead? What do you think?
It's going to level the playing field out greatly because I think he was having a hard time making the weight. And, some of the development, some of the posing came into effect at the last Olympia. But, with the added muscle, you can assure yourself some different poses that you will look better in that will, I think it will help him a lot.
So, guys, we're going to go to break, and then when we do, we're going to come back, and we're going to walk through the division, and we are going to talk about each guy, what they're allowed, and then for that matter, Chris, I want to definitely ask you, what's possible? because I know what people have been doing off season, but realistically, they come out with these new standards about 3 weeks ago, and the Olympia is 12 weeks out. So we're going to talk about that Olympia that's coming up November 2nd to the 5th in beautiful Orlando, Florida, when we come back on Primetime Muscle. And we're back on Primetime Muscle. So we've been talking about Classic Physique, the weight that was just changed. Some divisions or some heights were given a few more pounds here and there. We're going to really break it down, guys, how that affects some guys over others. We talked about how Bumstead, they only added 0.9 pounds to his height. However, I remember Chris saying he had 4 or 5 pounds that he could gain. But Chris, I want to start with you as we work through these guys. So let's just say rules were handed down a few weeks to about a month and a half ago, and these guys are going to start their cut like now. Does that give anybody enough time, or does that just less they have to lose? But to really, the Classic Physique comes in so rock hard. What adjustments can they make upwards on the scale this year, or is this going to be a next year thing?
Well, a lot of it's going to be a next year thing for a lot of competitors, but let's say Bumstead. I don't know if it's going to really affect him that much. I think he's going to be, basically playing the same game he played before. He's working with Hani, and he's, they dialed it in, pretty tight the last year. So he had a newfound body fat levels and water content in his body and all that stuff. Dino, I think, is going to fare out a lot. I think he'll be able to improve some of his poses, the twisted back, and some of these poses that,
You did a little work with him at the Olympia battle.
Yeah. So he's going to be a lot more connected. He's going to look a lot better this year, I'm sure.
Ramon Dino, what do you think this is going to do for him?
Well, first, I think mentally he's going to be better. Right, because it was a struggle mentally for him to make the weight. Right now, he's going to that check-in saying, hey, I'm not going to be squeezing that much unless he has a lot of muscle. But is his physique going to look different? Yes. The key question is how much. Is it going to be enough for him to have back thickness? Because he has the detail, but he needs back thickness. There's another factor that he needs to take in consideration. It wasn't 6-7 pounds that made him be outposed by Chris Bumstead. Was lack of experience. So he needs to improve his posing to get closer to Chris. He needs to improve his physique to get closer to Chris. And if he has the 1 year experience in posing, if he has a little bit more pounds and we see some modifications, yes, this could be, we don't know, this could be a more, a closer battle. Now, I like to remind everybody, Chris Bumstead, and I judged the event. This was a unanimous decision that Chris Bumstead won that show. Okay, it was unanimous. All judges believed that Chris Bumstead was superior. So Ramon has an uphill battle. I'd like to mention one name, Terrence Ruffin. Because
Rough Diesel.
A lot of people are not talking about this guy, and I'm getting pissed off. Okay, if you believe Terrence Ruffin, just because he had one bad year, that Terrence Ruffin is done, I'm sorry. You're graded A in stupid, okay? Terrence Ruffin will come back with a freaking vengeance. He has the ability to battle it out against Ramon and Chris Bumstead. And with the added muscle that he can have right now, and knowing full well that conditioning was his problem last year, Terrence Ruffin could very well win the Classic Physique. For all the people that are forgetting about Terrence Ruffin, you are making a horrible mistake.
Hashtag Rough Diesel. So I'm glad we're here because I'm a huge Terrence Ruffin fan. Chris, that's why I go back to you and I say to both you guys, when you were able to gain by the scale, by the guidelines, 7 pounds. 7 quality pounds is a different story. And that was a big thing for so many of the guys last year, was the conditioning. They came in soft, they came in a little undershaped, and when Bumstead hit those poses, everything was etched and dialed. He's maxed out the pounds for height. And some of these guys would have to put on solid quality muscle. Terrence has that quality. The offseason picks have been insane.
Yes, and muscle is 75% water. So, you have a full muscle bellies on that type of physique, then, his posing is out of this world. We all know that. And I think he can utilize this whole thing to revamp, the steam he had in his whole aura from before. Like he was a great poser, great physique. And, he's not even that tall, but he can stand next to the tallest guys and make them look like crap.
There's some other guys you're seeing at these shows coming up. Is there anybody that's looming out there in like that?
Whoa. Okay? Get ready. Get the B-roll ready. Spencer, Nico, get the B-roll ready. Okay?
B-roll?
The B-roll.
The B-roll.
You don't know what that is. Don't worry. Nobody's surprised you don't know what that is. I judged an event in Tijuana. By the way, you were there. You probably don't even remember. I judged an event in Tijuana, the Extreme Pro. And
I hate to interrupt you.
So stupid.
I just look at the clock like it's a fight. Like he got knocked down in the first minute 45 of the second round. I'm looking at the clock going, second segment, 5 minutes and 40 seconds before Tarek really went after him. All right, not bad.
oh man,
What do you got, brother? Go ahead.
sorry about that. Sorry,
You should
Chris.
be.
Sorry about that.
I have a
Chris.
loaded clip.
Don't worry, I have
a loaded clip.
I'll give you a nice compliment in the end to make you
You'll
feel
need
good about
to.
yourself.
You'll need to.
Anyways, we were in Tijuana, Mexico, and this guy, Fabio Jr. from Brazil, impressed me. By the way, here comes the kill compliment. At check-ins, the legendary Chris Cormier looked at him and said, wow, this guy looks impressive, Fabio Jr. He went on stage and he dominated. Chris, back to you. What'd you think of Fabio Jr.?
No, I thought he looked pretty incredible, especially from the back. His just standing there, I just saw him undressed. I was like, whoa! I was like, this guy right here is a serious competitor. I did see during the show, was it Delingo? What was his name? The guy took second.
Diego Galindo.
Delingo.
Great poser. He won a show in Colombia 1 week later.
There you go.
Delingo.
Galindo.
Galingo. Hey, this guy right here is someone to watch because the way he utilizes his physique during his poses is probably better than anyone. In the last couple of years, the way he makes his waist disappear like this, and the flaring lats, those twisted shots and everything. He is also really impressed me at that too on the show.
I'm going to agree with Chris. Diego Galindo from Colombia, last year I judged him and he took third. Now he took second in Tijuana, then he went to Colombia, his home country, and he won his qualification. Him, along with Terrence Ruffin, they might be the best posers in bodybuilding. This guy is pure magic. And when we see him at the Mr. Olympia, people are going to be, him and Fabio Jr. Fabio Jr. was very muscular from the back. That back double biceps, there's even internet comparisons between his back double biceps and Chris Bumstead's.
But he looked more, he's tinkering toward that classic look, though, to me, and for me and my taste, but he was just so explosive. The muscle, it was just so, I don't know, man. He was just like a bruiser out there.
Now, we've been talking off and on over the phone and internet about the Tijuana show. You said it's a really impressive show.
Man, I've judged that show 2 times in a row, and I've seen some of the most amazing competitors. The promoter is a friend of mine, Gabriel Velasco, and it's incredible.
Shout out,
because that show, that specific show, Extreme Pro in Tijuana, has been able to have some of the best athletes come out of there. Do you know the first time we saw Urs Karaczynski was in Tijuana? The first time.
I have such a problem with this. As a young Marine, that's where we all went to go get drunk. And they gave us the speech, be careful, they'll abduct you and you'll be sold off. And they just said it was a crazy place. Behave yourselves and avoid the donkeys and the whole thing.
Donkey show?
The donkey show. They said stay away from the donkey show. Okay. And here we are talking, you and I have been talking about now 2 years, talking about the Tijuana show.
I think because it's easy to get into Mexico in terms of visa, you get the German guys going there, Mike Sommerfeld and Urs Karaczynski. We saw them for the first time in Tijuana. Gabriel Zancanelli, who won last year, very impressive. We saw them. We saw Diego Galindo there. We saw this year Fabio Jr. And the event pays more money than some of the other pro shows. Well, he pays more money. That's why it's attractive. These competitors want the dough so they can go to Revolution Road. Chris, he doesn't know what B-row is, but he knows what that is.
But anyway, and to see those guys walk up the stairs from the back in the middle like that with the smoke, that was like so theatrical. That was like Mr. Olympia style.
That's awesome.
Stage to come out like that. And I thought that was awesome.
So I'll say the name for you. So Diego Galindo is Olympia qualified?
Diego Galindo, Olympia qualified. Fabio Jr., Olympia qualified. Now, Gabriel Zancanelli, who won the Tijuana show last year, does not yet have his qualification. There's a show in Brazil, which everybody was like, oh, fantastic. Now he's going to go to Brazil and win. Fabio Jr., who's also Brazilian and won in Tijuana, has different plans. He wants to make sure Gabriel Zancanelli does not make to the Olympia. So he already announced, I'm going to Brazil, and I'm going to get Gabriel Zancanelli out of the Olympia.
And I remember from last year how much it was important for Natalia Coelho to go back to her home country in Brazil and in front of her family, her father being able to see her compete for the first time. The Brazilians love to go home and win.
Absolutely. And there's something about, hey, I already got my, and I think it's starting to happen right now. I see a lot with bikini. About 3-4 years ago, if you won your qualification, you wouldn't compete anymore. And then Ashley Kallwasser starts saying, F this. I'm going to win as many shows as possible and make as many bikini girls hate me for the rest of their lives. And then you started seeing other bikini girls doubling down, tripling down. And then the men's physique guys started doing. And then bodybuilders started doing, winning 2 shows. By all means, go make that money. It's not only about the prize money, but it gets you hype. You win 2, 3, 4 events, and I have a supplement company. I want to sponsor you. I don't want to sponsor the guy that won 1 show and I never saw him again. So that's great for your hype. Continue to win shows. Continue to compete. When Chris was on fire in the 90s, these guys used to do 10 competitions a day. Now guys want to do 1 competition a year and just get in the room and play video games.
You guys flew all over the world.
Yeah, but some of it was we wanted to keep the sport going, wanted to keep the sport growing. And yeah, at the top of my game, I was winning 3 shows a year. And then bringing that hype into the Olympia or the Arnold Classic or something like that. And going, the best guys are there. Some would win sometimes, some would trade off and, beat the next guy the next week. And it was great.
That's phenomenal. All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about some guys that should either stay down or go up from Classic to maybe 212 or Open when we come back on Primetime Muscle.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
All right, final segment on Primetime Muscle today. Hopefully your cardio is going well if you're watching us there.
A lot of people do cardio watching our show.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. We're doing good for you guys.
Let's give them some motivation.
Yeah, let's go. Get on that.
Come on!
We got that
keep
show
going,
coming up.
keep going.
We got that show coming
You're
up. Let's go.
looking good, girl. Keep going on that cardio machine. Come on.
Let's go, big dog. Let's go get those glutes. Get those glutes ready. Shred it.
All right.
Shredded meat.
There's your push. We just became Machiavelli Motivation. Nice to see you guys. Hey, by the way, okay, I think I texted you this. So I love Machiavelli Motivation. I listen to it sometimes on the way to the gym, first couple sets, get the mindset right.
Machiavelli.
I hear this voice. I hear
Machiavelli.
Chris's voice. And I'm driving. I can't
That's
look
my
and I go,
homeboy, Machiavelli. Shout out to you, baby. It's my homeboy.
and I texted you right away, dude, I'm watching you on Machiavelli. This is so cool.
What was it? Which one was it?
It was awesome. It was old school, but it was like you VOing some of your old workout videos. and
Okay.
It was
okay.
cool.
That guy is so freaking creative. He's
He's
a
cool,
true
too.
artist.
Cool brother, man.
Hey, I don't know where he's from. I don't know.
He's from, is it Germany?
Have you met him?
Yeah.
I wanna give this
We were in
guy.
Dubai last year.
I want to give this guy some praise because you are damn good, man. You make amazing videos. People love your videos.
Best of the best.
And I want to tell you, if you come to the United States, please let us know because we're going to give you a gift. That's how good you are, my man.
Top America shirt, I betcha. So, yeah, and I'd love to hear the voices. Leela Brada, Hunter. There's a couple great Derek Lunsford ones.
His music, his
The
editing,
music
he's
editing.
great.
Oh, yeah.
He's great.
So, on the screen behind us, one of my absolute favorites and someone you've had a big hand in developing.
Yes.
And, guys,
Handcrafted.
This is okay.
Developed from the
This year, Chris, I have watched. I've been watching
Versace of bodybuilding.
I've been watching the update pictures. I love the updates. So Breon is not going back to Classic, is he? Has this been announced yet?
Well, are we talking about this?
We just did. I opened the door.
Well, here's the thing. After further review, we looked over everything, talked about it numerous of times. I leaned towards let's just move up to the 212. We was gonna head that way. He's at 220 some pounds, 22 pounds, and he normally, with that in mind for a long time, he would have normally been around kept it down around 212, 210, and then go from there. But now, under further review, with the 9 pounds difference for him, which is a big difference.
So it's 9 for his height.
Yeah, it's 9 pounds. So the thing is, when he turned pro at 176,
Can you just go straight to the point,
No,
brother?
can
I
you
mean,
just-
come
can
on.
you
You're
just-
gonna, It's okay. We'll just wait for you.
I saved this from the last time, and I had to
no,
say it
it's
now.
fine. We have 37 minutes on this segment.
Okay. So he was 176, a middleweight when he turned pro. He only had 4 pounds to play with the whole time he competed. So I thought the 9 pounds would be great 2-3 years ago. I was harping on this with the higher ups to hopefully get a little bump in the weight. But now it's here, and I think you're going to see him on that stage back at Classic.
And he's automatically qualified. I mean, he's an
Automatically
Olympia.
qualified, yeah.
So look at the
now,
camera and say, Breon Ansley's doing Classic Physique.
Classic Physique.
No,
for
hold
Breon.
on. We're going to put a close-up. So if
Okay,
it doesn't
okay.
happen, you look stupid.
Bring it out of his ISO. Hang
It's
on.
gonna happen.
There we go.
Who do you think?
Get a camera on him,
Who do you
Spencer.
think the Versace of bodybuilding?
Focus on him. Look, the camera is going on you.
Where you
at?
Versace
Where you at?
bodybuilder.
Where you at?
It's the center camera.
Center camera.
Make an announcement.
Breon, the Classic champion, is back in Classic. Let's go!
Good job,
go.
Chris. It
All
took
right.
you 37 minutes. You got to the point.
So, now, guys, Breon took, what, 3rd last year or 4th? Fourth. So, where did he have to come up where Ramon took that? It was Ramon and Urs in front of him, correct? So where can he make up some ground and go back at Chris? Because he and Chris were going back and forth forever.
The thing is, what he has to do to get in shape, to get to the weight class and then try to muster up within a day and a half or so, trying to get your body fuller and to fill out those cuts, because when you're so flat like he gets with no carbs over, the last month and a half or so, the muscle fibers get so flat, it's hard to fill them out. And it's just hard to fill them out fully and keep the cuts deep. That's a hard job. And some of it's just luck, some of it's just waking up and hoping for the best. And I mean, as far as built muscle, I mean, there's not many people on the planet Earth with this type of development. And he had the best back, I thought, in the whole bodybuilding, top to bottom, for many years already, the back double bicep. So, I mean, he's been built, he's been ready, but it's been a matter of water and so flatness that, that killed a lot of his poses, being so flat and not being able to come up. And then if you ate too much food, then you're full in the stomach and all this stuff.
So is it, though, Tarek, we'll start with you as a judge here. Are we looking at legs? Where was that thing was it the ham to quad ratio where Bumstead was just so dominant? It was a balance.
But it was a weight thing, though.
Was that what it was?
It was just so flat.
There's one thing.
There's
one thing, and Chris is right. In terms of back double biceps, despite the fact that Chris Bumstead has improved tremendously, Breon Ansley still has the best back double bicep on that category. Breon is borderline complete and incredibly great on genetics. Could he have a smaller waist? Yes, but he poses so well you don't get to see that. Are his clavicle bones the largest? No.
No, not the largest.
And here
Not
lies the rub, okay? That's a Shakespearean reference for you. Here lies the rub.
I thought it was a barbecue reference.
Okay,
Right.
When you're dealing with
Texas.
Chris Bumstead, you're dealing with some of the largest clavicle bones in the class. He probably has the largest.
But the front.
Let me finish. Let me educate you first.
Let
me just educate you first.
You haven't been alive long enough.
Let me educate you first. Let me educate you first, and then you have your point.
Go ahead.
Okay, don't walk up on me, okay? We'll move some furniture here and we'll call the 911, okay?
We don't got much time.
Chris Bumstead has the largest clavicle bones. When he poses he does that front lat spread, which is his classic physique pose. Shut the hell up. When he does his front double biceps, his width is superior than Breon Ansley. Now, Breon Ansley with 9 pounds, posing wider. And in addition to that, there has to be an intimidation factor. I want Breon Ansley to be angry on stage. I know he's got the greatest personality. I know he's got the greatest smile. But I want Breon Ansley to go after these guys and say, I beat your ass, Chris Bumstead, for years. Ramon, you're the new kid on the block. He's got to expose them on every single pose. He's the OG of that category, okay? He can't allow C-Bum to become the OG. He's got to say, hey, I got 9 pounds, I'm bigger than all of you guys, and I'm going to outpose you guys.
I like that.
Let's talk clavicles, where you had something really important to say with the spread of C-Bum and that lat spread.
No, I was going to say that they have so many poses. They have front double bicep, side chest, back double, ab and thigh, and then classic shot. So it's not really in the judging to have the front lat spread.
Chris Bumstead chooses his front lat spread, which is his favorite pose, because he knows he can use his width.
Both feet should be.
And he does a great job. His front double biceps is also wide. What does Chris Bumstead do on his side chest where he knows he can get exposed by some of the smaller guys? Instead of doing his front double biceps side chest like this, he just opens up a little bit more to bring a little bit of width. He goes, I can't beat Breon, Terrence Ruffin on this, so let me open my clavicles a little bit more to look my width.
Yeah, well, you wanna have your shoulders nice and wide, and he has the widest physique out of the competitors, so he looks ginormous in that side chest. I'm just hoping, for Breon's sake, with the fuller muscles, that side chest can be vastly improved. And I think that's going to happen.
Well, that goes back to, I don't think he's up against Chris on that one. That's a place where you're up against Ramon. The density of that side chest, the thickness. You're up against Michael Somerville.
Mike Sommerfeld, Urs Kalachinsky. And let me mention a name here, Michael the Bull.
Oh, yes.
Michael the Bull is an interesting prospect because he has one thing that Chris Bumstead has. He has width and he has height. If Michael the Bull is in shape, he could be on that first call out. Talking about back double biceps, if you get Breon on the right side of Chris Bumstead and you get that guy from Tijuana, Fabio Jr., on the left side of Chris Bumstead, Chris is going to have a tough day. Chris is gonna say, hey, I love this pose, but I just don't like these people next to me.
Now, a back double bicep is one thing because that's a standard bodybuilding pose. But a classic looking pose like this, where the separation, the cuts in the delt on that left
square
side.
inch, bro.
Joe,
Look at the brachialis, the bicep, the outside bicep with that peak, with
Hamstrings, glutes, calves.
bro.
Breon Ansley is a fantastic bodybuilder. Chris Cormier has done wonders for him because I judged him as an amateur at the LA Championship.
And boy,
he was wearing yellow trunks. And he looked good.
yeah, but
Chris,
he was
you've
not,
done well with him. You've done well. You failed a lot of times in your life, but with Breon Ansley, you've done well. Don't come up to me.
Oh, you better put that little.
I'll knock you down so quick.
You better put that little round hand
I'll knock
down.
you down so quick. Nico Hosen will be calling a replacement.
That fat little fist of yours can't do nothing.
all right.
About.
So let's circle back to Breon if we could.
Gotta keep it.
So, guys, let's just be perfectly honest. He was the OG of the division. He and Bumstead had the ultimate rivalry, one of the best rivalries.
Yeah, and I thought he should have last year went a one-on-one or at least the three guys up there at the end, and that I thought the crowd wanted that.
They wanted that, and
no disrespect to Dino, because Dino he took second. That was it was a great fair and square for him, but I think the crowd wanted to see Breon.
Well.
Again.
This year at the Olympia in Orlando, tickets still available. VIP, I believe, is sold out because this thing is an event like you've never seen. And this year could be bigger than better than ever. If you can't get there, definitely watch the pay-per-view. But Breon's additional 9 pounds and his desire to take that title back could make it one of the greatest stories in the sport.
Absolutely, Tim Wilkins. I got a good seat, but I'll tell you, if you're not watching the pay-per-view, if you're not there, you are going to have a miserable freaking life.
You have to be there.
A lot of FOMO.
You got to be there. You got to watch the pay-per-view is great, but being there is just so much.
It's a different emotion.
Guys, as always, we really appreciate you watching and being a part of the show and being with us for our time. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and especially if you got people that you're supporting getting ready for a show, we'll pump you up on your cardio.
Yep, and tell Tarek in the comments about his fat little fist needs to stay down. In his fat little pocket.
I'm going to wrap this up. Tarek Yogini.
Great to see you, Tim.
No, you look
I'm
great
glad
today.
you're between Chris and I. I'll beat the crap out of him.
I'm like Dana White with hair. The real deal, Chris Cormier.
Keep pushing that cardio, guys.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Tim Wilkins, we'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.